What's up, peoples? Yo, this is Shamm interviewing Baltimore's up-and-coming true hip-hop artist, Jaxx, Jaxx.
What's up, baby?
He's representing Baltimore, coming with that real hip-hop, that boom bap, that old school that's missing from the game. Real lyrics, real subject matter, deep content, thought-provoking.
Yes, sir.
So, Jaxx.
What's up, bro?
How long have you been in the rap game?
Well, I always started off as a fan, but I guess becoming a part of the rap game myself, I'm gonna say maybe starting 2001. It started with me just being a big time fan of and I started off just making beats and writing lyrics here and there, but I couldn't rap my own lyrics, so it was about a 4 or 5 year transition before I ever touched the microphone. So I would say my first time really spitting the verse was maybe 2006, and I've been hooked ever since. You know what I'm saying? So it's a long, maybe 5-10 year process to be even really becoming an artist myself.
Okay. Can you tell us when you fell in love with hip hop? Do you remember that moment? Do you remember the artist, the song?
Man, I can remember the very first time I was really hooked. You know what I'm saying? We was watching the Yo MTV Raps when I was maybe in the 4th grade, so maybe 9-10 years old. But I think the thing that really got me hooked, I saw the Public Enemy video. I think it was Black Steel and Arab Chaos. And,
I remember that.
I walked up to the peaches. I'm like, man, look, I want to go buy this cassette. And that was the first album I bought. It was on a little white cassette, man. I think I took it to school every single day in the 5th grade. And that right there was probably the thing that just always, take me back to when I first really got drawn into it, man. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. That was that era. That was like what? Late 80s, early 90s?
Yes.
Early 90s, yeah.
And that was like cocaine for real.
Yeah, that definitely was that era.
Yes, indeed.
So with that being said, who did you grow up on listening to?
Well, you know what I'm saying? We grew up, coming from the late 80s and early 90s. It was everything, 90% of the hip hop you heard was real, as opposed to 10% of it being fake. So that was a big, the East Coast had things popping with Eric B. and Rakim. You had, EPMD. You had, you even had the people with the polka dots, Kwame. You had Redman, and then in the 90s, it just took off, man. You had Nas, one of the greatest with the Illmatic. You had Wu-Tang Clan with the classic albums. Everybody knows about the Purple Tape, the Liquid Swords, the 36 Chambers, and, big up to the South, man. Scarface and Ghetto Boys, 8-Ball and MJG, man. It was just like a whole movement. Everywhere you went, man, it was hitting you out with classics. You had the West Coast rappers. You had MC8, you had Pop, you had, Ice Cube, you had Dre and the whole G-Funk, and man, it was magnetic, man. Straight fire.
Man, you busting me in the head right now. Those were the times. It's like,
yeah.
When you think about that and growing up on that, what separates that era of hip hop as to now in 2012?
I think when you had the late 80s, early 90s to the late 90s, as opposed to the last millennium, I guess the 2000s, the biggest difference I think in hip hop was, first of all, as a whole, everything hasn't been explored in that genre of music. It was all being revealed to the world. Of course, the people, in the black community, in the hood, the projects, they knew exactly the story they wanted to tell, but the outside world had no clue what was going on. So when you had a KRS-One or a Nas, or even Jay-Z on certain songs, Biggie talking about things that changed. These are things that was really going on, and they were giving you a graphic example. And the rappers back then, they were so hungry to get out of the situation, but at the same time, they wanted to let the world know what was going on. Whereas now, in hip hop, a lot of rappers come out, and before they drop their first single, they sitting on $1 million. And I think it kills some of the creativity and the hunger. And the worst part is that hip hop now has been so accessorized where there's really no how do I put it, no more exploration. So the fire is going, and I think the artists lack a lot in that, even though they're making money right now.
I would have to totally agree with you on that. I mean, the creativity's gone, it seems. The hunger's definitely gone. Like you said, artists are coming out with, $1 million deal with a record label, and it's not knocking the fact of them, catching it like that. But at the same time, it's like the art seems to be being diluted, and I would have to say it's already lost.
Yeah,
it's already lost. So with that, we got your history and your background. What is it that you're gonna bring to the table? What are you gonna bring to the hip hop culture, the hip hop community?
Well, one positive thing I can say about this new era, you got a lot more access to different outlets for hip hop. It's not just record label anymore or radio. You got all these different websites on the internet. Of course, the cell phone. You can do anything. You can even do a video with your cell phone. So for me, I think the biggest thing I'm gonna try and do is tell a story about my life and the things we've been through. I'm from a city where a lot of the real rappers aren't getting a chance, getting a fair shot to be heard. So we got a story that everybody's waiting to hear. You say the word Baltimore, people's ears get this big. So I think I'm gonna try and represent Baltimore to the best of my ability, and it's gonna be, things going on here. The STD rate, the crime, just the lack of us sticking together as a people, and even the MCs. A lot of us, we got the talent, but I think sometimes we lose our focus in trying to pull other people down. So, with my album, it's called Odd Man Out, and it's just going to be talking about real life, and we're going to see what happens.
Definitely, I'm definitely copping that when it come out, and, everybody be on the lookout for Odd Jaxx, man. Be on the lookout for him. He's up and coming from Baltimore.
Don't sleep.
So, with that being said, what would you say your style or is there any father to your style, or what can we expect? What can we expect from Odd Jaxx?
What can you expect?
What kind of sound do you?
I gotta rather. Everybody knows my ways of thinking a lot, like far, to the left. When everybody's going right, I'm going left. With me, I'm just gonna try and bring back hip hop in its truest form. Even if I'm gonna make a song, about having a good time with the beautiful ladies, it's still gonna have that, that Baltimore edge, the hip hop edge. That you cannot make a hip hop album if you ain't representing hip hop. I don't know any other way of saying it. Right. You gotta represent, and you gotta talk about things that other people are gonna relate to. Like, let's be real. We from one of the most violent cities, most poorest cities, and there's a lot of hate here. So a lot of us, we can't relate to the man driving the Bentley, or the guy popping the bottles, or the guy with the big chain.
Wow.
It's not. We don't live in a city that we got that kind of access.
Right,
a
right.
lot of nice rappers here, we still struggling. I'm one of them, but my whole style, man, is basically I'm gonna hit you with the hip hop, but I'm also gonna give you a little something to think about too. Hell, I may even put a little something funny in there because I'm joking all the time.
Right.
So we're gonna see what happens with that aspect of the game. Who knows?
It sounds like just being true to who you are, and that's that's another thing hip hop is missing. It's like a lot of these acts that's out now, what they're portraying on their first album, probably a couple weeks prior to that, they wasn't even living like that. It's like it's not being real, it's not being honest, man. And that's definitely something that's missing from hip hop. There was a truth within artists back in the days, and now it's just, you can be who you want to be. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it comes at a price. I think it can be something positive in it, but at the same time, you gotta remember who you're reaching out to. I think hip hop right now is going through a phase where 70% of its true fans are being alienated. Because I think what's going on in hip hop is they're looking at, well, this age from, I'm gonna say, 18 and under, where they're trying to drive all MCs to like, well, you know, you're gonna have to cater to these. Well, what about, you know, the fans who actually still go buy albums? That's the fans 21 and over. And I think mainstream is they're really doing a hack job with that, because you can't alienate a certain group of fans strictly by their age, because you're gonna have different age groups who are gonna contribute to hip hop in different ways. And that's why we got internet now, and it's starting to really take over. And I think these record labels and radio stations are getting scared. So now they're trying to invite the real hip hop into the game. And a lot of MCs are like, no, it's too late. We're going to do things the right way.
Right. True indeed, definitely. Well, it was a pleasure interviewing you, my man. I'm definitely looking forward for the album come out. Can't wait, you know.
Yes, sir.
We already got a taste of 2 tracks, Don't Sleep and Hit 'Em Hard, so really anticipating, can't wait on it, man. You know, definitely just do your thing, represent. And
hopefully late October, early November it drops. Try and do it probably straight through the internet if nothing pops off otherwise.
Well,
you know, big up to all the MCs from Baltimore, whether you from Cherry Hill, you know, Patterson Park, my home, Park Heights, you know, White Rock, the whole Baltimore, man. Let's, you know, come together and let everybody know we gonna represent it right.
Yeah.
Out, man. Peace.
Definitely. Be on the lookout.